It is Friday, the 9th of June, 2017. I'm protesting against Unitarian Universalist injustices, abuses, and hypocrisy of all kinds. But the focus is on the fact that the Unitarian Universalist Association, which represents Unitarian Universalism in North America, if not the world, hired Stikeman Elliott Barristers and Solicitors litigation lawyer Maitre Marc-Andre Coulombe to falsely accuse me of the archaic criminal act of blasphemous libel in clergy sex abuse cover-up legal bullying that sought to intimidate me into removing blog posts that tell the readily verifiable truth about such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape committed by certain Unitarian Universalist ministers. Those last couple of legalistic phrases are actually exact quotes from the two cease and desist demand letters that Maitre Marc-Andre Coulombe drafted and had me served with, or at least sent. I was served one. The other one I just picked up at Stikeman Elliott Barristers and Solicitors. It wasn't actually served on me by a bailiff, but the first initial one was. This mission statement is the mission statement of the Unitarian Church of Montreal. So it's, not the Unitarian Universalist Association's mission statement, but what I just related is just one example of extreme hypocrisy on the part of Unitarian Universalists. Montreal Unitarians individually and, as a collective, as a group, the Unitarian Church of Montreal as an institution have done some incredibly foolish things, to say the very least. They've done things that are clearly and unequivocally immoral and unethical and borderline criminal and actually criminal and even batshit crazy in the broad sense of the term, insane in the general sense of the word. So it does call into question, well, what exactly does the so-called spiritual community of the so-called Unitarian Church of Montreal actually welcome? What does it nurture? What does it inspire? Because it actually welcomes and nurtures and inspires some quite negative things. And it also challenges some quite positive things, such as my protest against Unitarian Universalist injustices, abuses, and hypocrisy. And then, together the actions taken in the world by the members of the Unitarian Church of Montreal, some of them are illegal, some of them are unethical, some of them are immoral, some of them are borderline criminal, some of them are actually criminal, and yes, some of them are pretty well accurately described as batshit crazy. So we're just going to continue our little protest here and display the picket signs to the people going by. And some of them don't seem to want to see the picket signs, might be because they're Unitarians. And then again, perhaps not. So anyhow, got a reasonable number of Montreal Unitarians and a whole lot of non-Montreal Unitarians did show up for the Gala dinner celebrating the 175th anniversary of the Unitarian Church of Montreal. That's why I'm here tonight, is because there is this Gala dinner, and so I expected that perhaps a higher number than usual of Montreal Unitarians would show up at the Unitarian Church of Montreal, but I also expected a higher than usual number of non-Unitarians, friends and invited guests and so on would also show up. So I thought it was a very good occasion to have yet another protest. A variety of things, but amongst them, the most serious issue, which I'm celebrating today, is the Unitarian Universalist Association in Boston. It's the headquarters for Unitarian Universalism in North America. So I'm not talking about the local church here in terms of this specific thing.
Boston, yeah.
There's other local stuff, but in terms of the Boston headquarters, they hired a Canadian lawyer to falsely accuse me of the criminal act of blasphemous libel.
Okay.
We have a blasphemy law in the Canadian Criminal Code. It's actually about to be repealed. The Trudeau government are repealing it. But 5 years ago, I was accused of violating this law. Why? Because I blogged about pedophiles and rapists in the church.
Okay.
So they're accusing me of blaspheming against their religion because I blogged about people who are actually charged, tried, and convicted and went to jail for either pedophilia or rape or a combination of both. So I think that's something worth protesting.
Okay. People from this church?
No, I'm talking about the Boston. There's other local issues. I'm talking about, the pedophilia and rape, you mean?
Yeah.
No, this was again in the United States. This was Boston area.
Okay.
Yeah, so I blog about things that were happening in the United States because I cover the whole religion community, not just the church locally.
Yeah.
And so because I blogged about these cases of pedophilia and rape, they wanted the blog post to disappear. So they sent me this demand letter saying, if you don't take down the blog post, we're going to have you charged with blasphemous libel. So I just told them to fuck off.
Okay.
No, it's really hilarious because the exact words from the letter were, your unfounded and vicious allegations to the effect that ministers of the association engage in such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape are defamatory, and they're so defamatory that they constitute the criminal act of blasphemous libel. Well, I wrote about people who were charged, tried, and convicted and went to jail. I got my information from newspapers. I didn't this wasn't
I understand.
So I write back to the lawyer and I tell him I'm having difficulty finding blog posts that match your description. Can you give me titles, dates? Because he didn't give me any of the specifics. In the letter, it's just like very general terms. So I said, can you give me dates, titles, whatever? I'll go have a look. I'll decide what to do. I mean, I already knew what I was going to do, but I'm just like trying to draw the guy out to identify exactly what he's talking about. And then I would have come back and said, what part of the word convicted did you fail to understand? But he didn't.
I'm not familiar.
Yeah, no, you're not familiar. But it's any religion, whatever. It could be the Roman Catholic Church. It could be any religion that's insane enough to accuse someone of blasphemy, to hide pedophilia and rape, has a problem. Worth protesting.
So, I'm not familiar with those cases.
No, you're not. I can give you the names if you want, but
do you have your website?
The website's called the Emerson Avenger.
Sorry?
The Emerson Avenger. If you just search Unitarians and blasphemy, you'll find it. Or blasphemous libel. I actually put up some very recent blog posts that give an overview. I've actually been trying to get the Boston Globe and the Boston Herald to report
Just like that,
this.
Emerson Avenger?
Correct. It's based on a saying by Ralph Waldo Emerson. I don't know if you ever heard of him.
No.
Okay, he was Hi.
I'm just trying to understand this.
I'm glad to hear that. because
So what is it with this church? Because you said these
even before
I'm curious too,
even before this happened.
No, I meant I'm sorry to
That's all right.
interrupt. I just don't understand.
Yeah, I'll get to you, but he did ask first. Prior to this is like 2012 when this blasphemous libel accusation was made. Prior to that, I joined the church in '93.
Okay.
And what you may not know about the Unitarian Church is that it welcomes atheists. And
I did know that,
and some of the atheists are intolerant bigots. So if you're a God-believing person going to a Unitarian church, you can basically be shit all over by a bigoted atheist Unitarian, which is exactly what happened to me. So I started protesting about that issue, and then I filed a clergy misconduct complaint against the minister because he was one of the people who did that. And it got, just dismissed, blown off by the same organization in Boston. They threatened me with police action and stuff like that too, even, back then. So after trying to resolve it internally for a few years, getting nowhere, I started protesting. So, and then I became aware of the sexual stuff. Even before protesting at the beginning, I became aware of the sexual stuff, and I just added that to my protest because there were, victims of misconduct, who were too afraid to speak out and so on. I said, I'm not afraid to speak out, so I'll do it for you. So that's it. I mean, there's more issues too. I became aware of a bunch of other stuff, but the main issue, I started protesting as a result of bigotry and intolerance on the part of the atheists locally, and then the whole issue. They were like misusing the police. They had me arrested on bullshit criminal charges in 2000. There's a law in Canada that prohibits disrupting the order and solemnity of religious services. So you're not allowed to disrupt a church service. Well, they use that law against me. I'm out here. You can't even see me or hear me. But they, so just insane. I was acquitted. It was total bullshit. I represent myself. It was like total bullshit.
Okay.
I cross-examined their witnesses, and they looked like total idiots in front of the judge. I just destroyed them in court. The judge had no choice but to acquit me. But the whole point is, they actually had the SPVM arrest me and charge me under this law, as a way to shut down my protest. Just incredibly hypocritical and cynical.
I just don't understand it because I'm Catholic.
Right.
I've got nothing against what you are or
Right,
you are
right,
or the next guy.
right.
That's your private
Right.
thing.
Right.
So it should be left like that. You don't
Yes
need
and no.
to
No.
No, I wouldn't preach to you. And I
Are you coming
Okay.
from the service right now?
No.
It's not a service. It's a gala dinner. They're celebrating their 175th anniversary.
I have nothing to do with it. I belong to the Catholic Church.
Okay.
And
So,
I believe in everybody has their own religion. That's their thing.
well, each individual has their own
Yeah.
take on,
we all know
Catholicism.
there's a God, and that's
Well,
the
we don't
one.
actually. Not all of us.
We feel that we do.
Well, no, what you do, and I do, and other people do, but there are some people who are atheists. They don't believe in God at all.
Some people don't believe in nothing.
Alright. I'm gonna take off.
Yeah, I hear you. No worries. Thanks for.
I'll check this out.
Yeah, thanks for your interest. I appreciate it. Just gonna put my picket signs back up. So that was all recorded. A young gentleman, looked like 20-something, probably an atheist, but not necessarily. But he did seem a little miffed, when this.
Excuse me,
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know enough about this.
Right.
But you're saying atheists. You mean they don't believe in?
Not all of them, but most of the members of this church, I would say most of them, but certainly a very significant percentage are atheists. The minister is an atheist, but actually in terms...
What the hell? I'm sorry.
No, no.
What the hell is he running a church
It's a
for?
she, actually. So
That
anyway,
too.
you can go ask her. But specifically, the atheists who are accusing me of blasphemy, which is insane, are actually in Boston. It's the head. It's like their Vatican. It's like their Pope accused me of blasphemy for blogging about their pedophiles and
There are
rapists.
Catholics in Boston than there are anywhere
There are
else.
more Roman Catholic priests in the world than there are Unitarian Universalists. And yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, there's much more Catholics in Boston than Unitarian Universalists, and they got their own problems. But anyway, no,
They
it's
used
just.
to always say you kick with the wrong foot or whatever.
Well, they shot themselves in the foot.
My father was a convert.
Right. I thought you were going to say convict. I'm just joking.
No,
but
convict.
I'm just joking.
He never knocked
Right,
anybody.
right. It's best not
But
to.
he used to be funny. He'd
Yeah.
sit in our living room.
Right.
We lived on Giroux
Right,
and
yeah.
NDG.
Sorry?
You go to the church?
I protest outside of it.
Okay, so it's not your
But
Well,
he-
no, I know a lot about it actually, but I used to be a member until they kicked me out for complaining.
Catholic or
It's Unitarian. It's essentially it's a sect of Christianity that denies the Trinity, much like the Jehovah's Witnesses do. But a lot of them are atheists now. Like, they don't even believe a God. A lot of them. The minister's an atheist. I'd say the majority of members here are atheists. Not all of them. There might be a few God-believing people, but quite frankly, the so-called God-believing ones have a pretty warped idea of God.
I go to
No,
church.
my dad used to sit in the living room reading the
I go
paper.
to church in the
Right.
And we had the
Okay.
laneway.
protesting.
Everybody be coming from church. And he
Right.
was a convert.
Right. I hear you. Yeah. Do you know what he?
Read,
Sorry.
Wi-Fi password for the Wi-Fi.
excuse me.
Oh, the password for? I have no idea. Sorry. Yeah.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
he'd be sitting reading his paper. And he's listening to everybody coming up the lane
Right.
from church. 'Cause
Right.
it was,
Right.
Shortcut.
Right.
and he'd look over the paper and he'd say, they all went to church.
Right.
Now their husbands are bastards. He couldn't figure it. It was funny like hell.
Yeah. Well, I try to inject some humor into what I'm doing too, but.
And I had an uncle that he didn't believe, but he never knocked anybody.
Did you know you still have a
What's that?
your little bracelet?
Oh,
Oh,
because I'm allergic to penicillin.
Oh, so you have to have that all the time?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was maybe because you just got out of the hospital or
No,
something.
actually,
No, it's to alert people. Yeah, it's to
no
alert.
more good. Because it's,
Well, wait
going
till you can cut it with scissors. But
No,
I just thought I'd
it's okay.
remind you that it's there. It's like.
no. But it was funny, but it was true, you know.
Yeah.
I never knocked anybody.
Yeah.
You
Well,
had
put it this
your-
way: every religion has its problems. Every religion is
Oh,
open to
sure.
criticism. But I do believe that if you're going to criticize a religion, that at least you should stick to the truth. A lot of people descend into bigotry and exaggerate things and so on. I think if you're going to criticize a religion,
Wow.
it's best to be on solid,
old saying.
especially since God's aware of what you're doing.
Practice what you preach.
Exactly, and these people are doing the exact opposite. You know, they've made a total mockery of everything they preach in terms
I've
of.
never been
Yeah,
here
no, I'm just
before.
telling you that
No,
that's
I'm
why
just
I'm here.
saying.
You know, I just want to pick up the
I've
picket
heard of
signs
it.
that got blown down.
But I've
yeah,
never been here.
yeah.
It's a friend of mine.
Yeah, no, I understand. Yeah, you're invited for this event. Yeah. So let's put that back up and put this back up. So I'll put this one over here. All right. So the other ones fell down too, so I'm just going to
But
put
that's
those.
very true, what you said.
Well, it's a totally factual statement.
Yeah.
UU's means Unitarian Universalist. That's a logo that they use to identify themselves. And, you know, specifically the ones who were responsible for having this lawyer accuse me of blasphemy were atheists. So it's just insane that someone who does not believe in God would use a blasphemy law for any reason whatsoever, you know.
This is like I said, that's
yeah.
why
Yeah.
I've been brought up Catholic, that's my thing.
Yeah.
But I never get into it.
Yeah.
My father used to always say, two things you never argue on.
Right.
Politics
And religion.
and religion.
Yeah, no. As a rule, it's best
And
not
he was
to.
right.
You know, as a rule, you're on sensitive ground, you know. But,
Yeah.
you know, sometimes you have to argue stuff, you know.
And he turned Catholic, but
Right.
married.
Right.
And he'd sit Sunday morning with his newspaper. They'd be coming up the lane
Right.
from church.
Right, right.
He'd say, listen, they're coming from church and they're cursing their husband.
Yeah.
He'd laugh like,
Yeah, yeah.
oh,
Okay,
yeah.
I'm just going to put the signs back up.
Yeah, well, have a good
You
night.
too, yeah, yeah. Well, so that's totally recorded. That's first was had a young man ask questions, engage in a free and responsible search for the truth and meaning of my protest, and then this older woman, yeah, she actually did kind of interrupt. Okay, here clapping now. So you know, we basically answered the questions of both of them. Had a nice little chat. I'm glad the camera didn't cut out because it was cutting out very early due to overheating.